Hello, Dr. Egenti.
Hi, Dr.
And
Leah.
hello everyone who is watching us. What I always try to do in space is to engage the best minds among us in dialogues that not only challenge us, but also help us take some introspective looks at ourselves and the world that we live in. And in so doing, it is always my desire to find ways that we can make this a better world for all of us. So I try to engage people in telling us and thereby teaching us the best ways to do that through example. And today it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Martha Egenti, who is the Deputy Director of Awka Window on America. She has been in that role since June 2021. In that role, she promotes, manages, and coordinates programs of American spaces. Dr. Egenti is a reader at Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Awka, Nigeria, with over a decade of research, lecturing, academic advising, community service, and administrative experience. I should say that what you in the British Commonwealth refer to as a reader in a university, here in the United States, that's the role that we call associate professor. And so I say that for our American audience. And in academic leadership, Martha is the associate editor of Ogirisi, a new journal of African studies, which was established in 2019, and she continues to serve in that role. And she also served as an editor of Unizik Journal of Arts and Humanities from 2021 to 2023. And in that position, she led the editing of several editions of that journal. And Martha has also served in various capacities in the Department of Faculty and at the Department of Faculty and at the university level. Dr. Egenti, Martha Egenti, is a trained linguist with research interests in the areas of lexical semantics, pragmatics, psycholinguistics, text corpus linguistics, discourse analysis, lexicography, and her work actually cuts across the social sciences, education, humanities, and migration studies. And she continues to do a lot of great things. She got her bachelor's, her master's, and her PhD from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, where she continues to work. So in that respect then, Dr. Egenti, is it right for me to call you a citizen of Unizik? It seems like you've been there for much of your career, your academic and your professional career. Dr. Egenti was actually, one of the young visiting scholars at Xiamen University in Fujian province in China in 2015. And her refereed papers have appeared in local and international journals and also in several books. She has two books to her own credit. One is called Thinking About Now Toward Philosophical Autarky and the Semantics of Multi-Word Expressions in Igbo. She has participated in various international conferences, webinars, and workshops, and trainings on linguistic studies, leadership, project management, digital marketing, media literacy, communication skills. And her scholarship has taken her to several countries, including the United States of America, Germany, China, Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana. And she has received many, many awards because of her work. So, Dr. Egenti, are you not tired yet? with all of the work that you have
It
under your
seems,
belt
it
or that
seems you're introducing someone, and I was like, is it me you're introducing like this?
Yes, it is
Oh,
you. I should
thank
probably
you.
say that just reading it out, it makes me feel like I haven't done anything in my career. Maybe I should just not sleep at night and just do work, work, work.
Thank you very much.
So when did you
It's a
know that you
pleasure to
wanted?
be here.
Thank you. So when did you know that you wanted to be a linguist and why?
Actually, sorry. Actually, I never wanted to study linguistics, but psychology, because I wanted to become a clinical psychologist. But when I gained admission into the university to study linguistics, to be candid with you, I was curious about what linguistics is all about, not until my penultimate and final year, when I began to see the interdisciplinary connection of the course, which made me to completely fall in love with it. And yes, I got very interested in psycholinguistics. You can guess why.
Why? Because you wanted to be a clinical psychologist?
Of
Or,
course, because of the connection. So psycholinguistics studies the relationship between language and the mind. So it describes the psychological processes that make it possible for human beings to use language. So I've done a lot of research in that regard, trying to find out what happens to language when there is damage in the mind. I've also tried to see um, what happens to to the mind when language is damaged, and then how are children able to produce or use language as language learning and skills.
you are in Nigeria right now. And
Absolutely.
right, and I know that some of your work has to do with the Igbo language. And
All right.
in what respect, what exactly regarding Igbo language are you studying?
Generally, core linguistic looks at language in general, it looks at the structure of languages. And my interest in my indigenous language, of course, the charity begins at home. And I wanted to look at my language. I've also done other studies of some endangered languages in Nigeria, like Alago spoken in Nasarawa State and Itilo spoken in Benue State. But my focus is more on Igbo because, of course, a lot has not been done there. And with the UNESCO prediction that Igbo may be extinct in 2025, I don't know how that is going by the, the parameters to show whether language is endangered or not. But my focus is on my indigenous language and
Do
and
you
most of the
enjoy,
research I've done focus on the different aspects of the language.
so your PhD is in semantics and applied semantics. And what is that?
Yes, I decided to study semantics. Semantics is actually an aspect of linguistics that has not received adequate attention. We also have other aspects of linguistics, but my interest in semantics is because it hasn't been really explored um, by scholars. And so, because I love to explore new areas and less research areas, I was motivated to go into it. Having had my background checked because I had to check on other universities in Nigeria to see the amount of work that has been done in that region. And my observation shows that the area is less researched. So generally, semantics is a branch of linguistics that is concerned with meaning in language. So at different levels, whether it is word meaning, whether it is sentence meaning. Then my focus is on semantic. There's lexical semantics. Lexical semantics is a subfield of linguistic semantics, and it has to do with study of word meaning and the relationship words share at various levels. How words structure, how words are structured, how they act in grammar with regard to how they are combined, and then the relationship that exists between the distinct meaning and uses of the word. So my PhD research actually is a couple-based one. Of course, we focus on Igbo corpora. At that time, there was no corpora, there was no existing corpora for the Igbo language. So I had to build my own corpora from novels. From the permission I got from the authors of the novels, I was able to scan and, of course, did a lot of editing, and I had my corpus. The whole idea is to investigate the patterns of language that are reviewed through corpus analysis. And of course, I want to flow with the emerging technologies in the study of language, and that is one of the major motivations. So in my PhD, I studied semantic prosody. It's a phenomenon, a type of meaning that's often characterizable as positive or negative due to consistent series of choices or co-occurrence behavior of words. Just like you can say that birds of a feather flock together, or the friends you keep, with time tend to influence the other. So too, you have that kind of behavior in words, in co-occurrence relationship that word shares at various levels. So the argument is that word and meaning does not belong to single word, but it's extended to other words that the co-occurs in the same place. So we saw the pattern and we were able to arrive at some conclusion regard to particular words, like in relation to cross-linguistic study, like cause, for instance, cause pain, cause disaster. And if you look at the words that co-occurs with, most of them tend towards the negative, generally. And then in Igbo language, we did that and noticed that it is the same way, just like in other languages. We also investigated other words like that. We were able to have our findings.
Let me tell you why this conversation is really, it's really striking me at my core. The fact that as an African who is, like you, a scholar, but even if you put the scholarship aside, just being an African, I have always been concerned about our kind of colonial mentality, just to use that phrase, where we tend to believe that what we have is inferior to, for example, what our colonialists brought. Part of that, it seems to me, has been the denigrating of our languages in Africa. But what I'm hearing you say is that African languages are rich in themselves, and that even if they're very rich and they're deep as well, and that scholars like you, to that extent, then scholars like you who are doing the kind of work that you are doing a remarkable service to our people, to our culture, and also the scholarship that extends beyond the borders of Africa. So when you travel to other countries and give the lectures that you give in those countries, how is your work received?
It's usually well received because the area I usually venture into are areas that are usually less explored, has not been explored in some languages. So we usually feel excited that, wow, this phenomenon actually exists in this language. Maybe I'll go and try it in my own language. Like the last one I presented in Ghana late last year. One of the scholars was like, wow, this is so interesting that you would like to find out how this also occurs in his own language. So it's really good to get feedback like that. It was good.
So when there is talk about the Igbo language going extinct, I like the fact that you said, I don't know if that is true. Yet it is important to make sure that that doesn't happen. So much of this work is to make sure that that doesn't happen. That said, you must be as concerned as I am that many of us have failed to teach our children our dialects, our African languages. And I
That's
see
just,
that not only for people like me who live abroad, but also when I travel to Africa and I go to visit homes, and what I find is that parents are speaking English language to their children right
yeah.
there in Africa, even in their hometowns. They and their children are communicating in English language and not in the native language.
Yeah,
So
it's actually a great concern. I think that's why UNESCO had to predict that if this trend continues, there's this likelihood that you won't have number of speakers, and once the older ones who speak the language die, the language gradually begin to also go extinct. So the emphasis of parents using the language at home is emphasized. It's emphasized.
right. So what have been the rewards that you think you have accrued from being a linguist and having a career in academia?
Absolutely. There are numerous rewards of being a linguist and having a career in the academics. These rewards range from intellectual stimulation to the personal fulfillment and potential social impact that come with being a linguist and having a career in academia. I'll start with the intellectual exploration and curiosity. In fact, studying being a linguist will kind of heighten your curiosity. It will give you the opportunity to engage in continuous intellectual exploration. You want to dive into the intricacies of language structure, meaning, and use, satisfying your curiosity about how language works, how the language evolves. In fact, as a matter of fact, it was my curiosity that led me to my study of stutterers in my a master's degree. I had to go into that. I was like, why do people stutter? And what's actually trigger stuttering? So even in my PhD research, I was interested in knowing how I can apply new technologies in my research. So these are, curiosity. You want to explore, you want to know what is happening, the patterns that exist in a language, you know. In fact, there's this research that I recently concluded. I was part of the project 100 on Utopia in 100 languages of the world, and it's going to be published this first quarter of this year in Germany. So it's interesting to see how sound of things and events relate and overlap in languages of the world. So it was really an interesting research. I'm looking forward to the publication.
Right. This is probably beyond the scope of linguistics, but I don't know. I really don't know. I want you to educate me. The fact that, for example, you are an African, I am an African, and I know that one of the presidents of Japan, the prime minister of Japan, many years ago, his name was Obuchi, and was Japanese. His name was Obuchi, which if one heard that outside of Japan, one would think, without seeing his picture, one would think that I was an Igbo name, an Igbo man, right? And then my name, Ohiro, I have actually met a Japanese person by that name, same spelling. And I have
Okay.
been, Ohiro, yes, same name,
Wow.
same spelling. Japanese.
Interesting.
Yes, I have actually physically met that person. And he's not the only one. I'm just saying I have met a Japanese called that name, and there are people in Japan called Ohiro. And my friend who resided in Japan for many years told me that in Japan, the word for water is ame, which in my dialect, my Nigerian dialect, is the same word for water.
Oh,
Yet we are really cultures that are distant, very distant, apart. How is it? Is there an explanation in linguistics for how that is possible? Other
yeah.
than, yeah,
Language are classified, they are related in different ways. Yeah, you have, and language borrows extensively from other languages. So even in English, you find words that look alike with German. The same thing you find across other languages. And if you look at, you find out maybe from the development, the historical development of the language, they begin to do what? As time goes on, this language begin to to depart kind of, and then the relatedness begins to reduce. So like Yoruba and Igala kind of share some relationship, some genetic relationship kind of. Maybe it springs up from Yoruba or Yoruba. So you have that kind of relationship at different levels. Maybe sister, you can have parent language, a parent, just like you have in genealogy, you have your grandparents, you have your parents, and then you have the children, and then they have their children, and then children's children. That is how it is in language. And so maybe as the generation keeps, rolling by, you find out these differences reducing, that the similarity begins to reduce, and then you find vestiges of these similarities. So if you link it up, you find out maybe it has originated from a particular language gradually because of contact, because of contact, and then you begin to see a lot of changes that occur in the language.
right. It appears that some people who know you personally are watching, or at least know your work. I just saw some Judith Ume said, right on, doctor. So, but
Thank
going
you,
back to,
Judith.
yeah, but going back to what you were just saying, as a linguist, that is the kind of knowledge that you are bringing to us and imparting on us. And for me, as a behavioral scientist, social scientist, I would say that that actually makes the case for us to understand that there is a lot more that should bring us together than should set us apart. And therefore, it makes the case for us all to work for peace and unity around the world. So I'm saying that to also say that therefore, as scholars, there is work that a bunch of us can do together, not just to be nerds, to be nerdy and to do all this research, but also to promote dialogue around these issues of unity and peace, and then to use evidence from the work that we do and from the scholarship that you are presenting here to advance that case. What do you think?
The great title, very good. We do not, guys, in this clan, we do not really promote multidisciplinary. But that is what makes academics, that is, makes influence and societal impact, to put it that way. When we come together from different disciplines, find that we share insights, from our different angles, and that way we contribute a lot to societal issues that exist.
That is actually encouraged here in the United States, and you will see that some of my research has actually been with a nursing scholar. And we have co-published a number of times, and it enriches the work. when you can do
Absolutely.
that. And what I'm actually advocating is that kind of work as well, that's interdisciplinary in nature and also advances the cause of society, the need for us all to be together. But one of the things that I also found quite intriguing in reading and learning about you is your work as Deputy Director of Awka Window in America. And it also speaks to this last point that we just made about bringing spaces, bringing things and people together in the spaces that we occupy. But speak to us about Awka Window on America.
Yeah, thank you. Awka Window in America is an American space established by the U.S. Consulate in Lagos. Um, An American space that simply open access learning and gathering spaces where people come to interact, to share ideas, and to learn a lot through our various platforms. So basically what we do in Awka Window in America is to educate, to engage, to educate, and to empower young people through our various programs. And we leverage both virtual and in-person platforms to do that. So we do a whole lot, Awka Window in America. We kind of, it's a kind of platform that bridges the gap between the Americans and the Nigerian people, especially bringing it home to the community, bringing reliable, accurate information to the community. With regard to education, we have a lot of, in fact, we have core programs that we do here that borders on education, the borders on, of course, across science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The Education USA is one of them. It's one of our core programs, Education USA. Through the Education USA, we get people that are interested, prospective people that want to study in the US, we take them through the 5 steps to studying in the US. So, and we expose them to the fundings that are available so that they'll be able to leverage on the opportunity to study. And then we also have the capacity building. We do a lot of capacity building across tech, entrepreneurship, leadership. We do a lot of that. We've done a lot of training in the past on blogging and web design, how to publish in Amazon, how to even market, digital marketing. We did that sometime last year. We've done how to use your smartphone to shoot films, short films, and all. So a lot of things that will empower young people, how to do soilless farming. So it cuts across different areas, different aspects. So we also do strategic programs like film shows. We do roundtable discussions that border on different issues, economy, politics, and the likes of them. We also engage alumni. We engage alumni that those that have benefited from US funding. We have a lot of them that have benefited from US funding. Why we use them is because they are experts, they are kind of bridge between the Americans and the Nigerian people, and because they have the experience, so they serve as a bridge that brings the both cultures together. And because their works are accepted globally, they already have this experience. So we bring them on to talk about their experiences, the work they do, as a way of inspiring young people. So we do a lot of that here, engaging them. And a lot of people have benefited from since the inception of the center. Like through the Education USA, we have four persons that have benefited full funding to study in the US. And a lot of them, of course, we have certified programs. A lot of them have participated, and some of them have begun their, like the digital marketing we just concluded. A lot of them already know how to have their business profile and things like that. So it kind of empower young people, those things that they cannot get from the classroom, to get the seats. So the space is more of a community library and a resource center. So beyond that, we also engage the diplomats through our Speak with a Diplomat. We engage them to share their experiences and the work they do. It's a non-policy program. So it's kind of bringing them closer to the people so that they kind of feel the need, see the need, and then hear from them. So we interact with the diplomats from the US, from the different units of the consulate or embassy. So in the past, we've interacted with the visa officer, with the political diplomat, with the cultural diplomat, cultural affairs diplomat, and a lot of them. And it is really an impactful program, all those programs. We also have our youth development series program and the MOOC program, that's a massive open online courses. These two are certified programs. We bring it on from time to time so that people get to benefit from the program. At the end of the day, they are given, they are issued certificates if they meet the 80% requirement. So this program, the youth development program and the MOOC program are usually in person, because we want people to really come. Some of them are hands-on, practical courses that they need to be here to use the facilities that we have a lot of facility system they can use for their research. Of course, the e-library USA is there. Most of our books are in the e-library USA. And you have books, you have, of course, current books, 2024, books that are recent, current books. We also have magazines in the e-library USA. And then we have documentaries too. Documentaries, we have them there. We also have resources for high school students. So we have a whole lot, and it is indexed in two databases. We have JSTOR, we have the EBSCO database in the e-library. So it is benefits both young people and academics. Those who those who are interested in general interest, they come here to make use of the opportunity.
So you were talking about working with the diplomats. You meant the American diplomats in Nigeria.
Yes, the American diplomats. We engage them under that platform. Just like I said, it's a non-policy program. So we just call, we ask them, about their life generally, their experiences here and the work they do. And then, kind of inspire young people. I say right.
Right. So this program is funded by the United States government?
Yes.
What has been your experience like working with Americans in Nigeria?
It's really, really interesting. Since I came in here, I would say have taken a kind of leap, a very big leap in my career. And through the trainings, the countless trainings I've participated in, I must say that I'm not the Chidimma that I was in before 2021.
So you mean that the interactions with the Americans there, those interactions have been quite beneficial for you?
Yeah, very life-changing, very life-changing. Amazing programs that will change your life, upskill you, make you to be, confident and what to do. And so it's very nice. Very nice.
And also the benefits, right? And the benefits also that the young people are reaping from this program. But why is a program like that necessary?
Why is it, sorry?
Why is it necessary?
It's necessary because we want our young people to be independent when they leave school. In the classroom, these are skills that we don't learn in the class. Nobody will teach you in the classroom. When they come here, they learn about the skills that companies look out for, so that when they graduate, they're already equipped, to take up jobs confidently. So these are the programs we do here. We do programs that will equip and skill young people and open their eyes to many opportunities that will help them in their future life.
So we are going to end on a very light note. And I'm going to reveal to you a secret that I know about you.
Oh,
I know that you're a member of your church choir, the Anglican church choir.
oh.
And
Where did you get that from?
don't ask me. I have sources. So
Okay.
I am not going to challenge you to sing. But what I'm going to do is to ask you, knowing what I have read about you and what I know and how I introduced you, about your work as a scholar and your work in the American spaces as a deputy director and all of the international traveling that you do and the lectures, all of that you do around the world. China is very distant from Nigeria. The United States is quite a distance from Nigeria. Germany, maybe not so much, about a 6 hour flight. But we're talking about all these distant places that you travel to. In a culture where you are also a woman and a mother and an active member of your church and the choir. And so my last question is, how do you balance life as a career woman, a mother, a member of your church choir, and all the domestic and international traveling that you do? How do you balance all of them?
That's really an interesting
And
question.
spouse. Yeah.
I would say which is at the medium. Um, Three things contributed to my success. I think planning is one of them. Planning very well, staying focused, being consistent, and having that determination to succeed. Of course, you have to work hard towards that goal. And you know that personal growth is a lifelong process. It's all about continually learning, evolving, striving to be the best version of myself. Like I really want to be the best version of myself. So at each point in my career journey, I try to stay focused and intentional about my personal growth. So I try to be the best version of myself. I try to motivate myself at each point by staying focused. And that has enhanced my self-motivation. Of course, I trust God to see me through all the challenges that I come across. With regard to planning, sometimes we plan and then sometimes it doesn't work out as we have planned. But with God on my side, I would say that it has always been a smooth ride. My master's thesis, for instance, I defended my master's thesis when my baby was 1 month. That is to say, while I was pregnant, I was working on my thesis. Okay? And then my PhD also, my baby was 6 months when I defended it. So the whole idea is that you just have to be focused, just have to say, just put your eye on the ball and keep moving so that in spite of the challenges you are not deterred by the challenges that come across your way. With regard to international traveling, I would say that in as much as I love traveling very well. And I am also intentional about my career growth of being an international scholar. So I will add that opportunities need those who are prepared and ready to pursue it. So well, I'm always searching for opportunities, and when they come, I just pick them. Like I remember when there was a call, I think at UI for this natural language processing program. That was in 2001, 2021. So I just quickly, drafted abstract and sent with regard to what I've been doing and all that. And luckily, I was selected among them. So once you are ready and you have the hunger, you have you have the hunger to always, to be the best you can be. Of course, you always get there with hard work and determination.
Thank you very much. And
That's
yeah, that's really quite encouraging, and it's great advice, actually, for anyone who wants to strive. It is actually true what you just said, that if you have a plan and you're determined, but it's also true that sometimes there can be disappointments, but the key, it's not, the key is not to fall and remain on the ground, but also
mm-hmm.
stand up and just
Yeah.
keep going. I cannot thank you enough for being here, being my guest today. I also will say that just to let you know that I think you've known about me for a little while now, but I have not been invited to the Awka Window of America. And so should I hold that against you?
Of course, you will this year.
Oh, I'm just
I
joking.
promise.
But I want you to know that I have great support and respect for your work, and
Thank you.
I hope you continue to succeed. And say hello to everyone in Nigeria, however many people you can say hello to. And greetings from here in the United States, and I look forward to continuing to work with you in different areas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you too.
All right.
Bye.